Movies have the power to evoke a spectrum of emotions, from laughter to tears, and some have even sparked significant conversations about societal issues. However, among the vast array of cinematic achievements, there exist films that push boundaries to such an extent that they became controversial. These films often faced backlash due to their provocative themes, graphic content, or the way they portrayed sensitive subjects. Today, we explore specific scenes that not only contributed to the film's notoriety, but also led to its ban in various places. These moments often reflect a time when filmmakers were willing to take risks, challenging audiences to confront uncomfortable truths. The explicit nature of certain scenes, whether through violence, sexuality, or social commentary, has made them unpalatable for modern sensibilities. As society evolves, so do the standards by which films are judged. What was once considered groundbreaking or thought-provoking is now often deemed inappropriate or offensive. The films that contain these controversial scenes serve as a reminder of the shifting landscape of cultural acceptance and the fine line between art and outrage. As we delve into these films, we will examine how specific scenes became the focal point of debates, leading to their eventual censorship. The impact of these moments resonates beyond the screen, prompting discussions about freedom of expression, artistic intent, and societal norms. The legacy of these films continues to provoke thought, raising questions about what we deem acceptable in storytelling. Each scene we discuss today reveals not just the film's narrative, but also the cultural context in which it was created, highlighting the complexities of filmmaking and audience reception. Chasing Amy explores the complexities of love and sexuality through its characters, particularly focusing on a heterosexual man who falls in love with a woman who identifies as a lesbian. While the film attempts to present a narrative that includes same-sex relationships, it has faced criticism for promoting the idea that sexual preferences can be easily changed or switched. This notion can be misleading and harmful, as it undermines the validity of a person's sexual identity. The film's portrayal of gender roles is also problematic, as it often reduces women to mere objects of desire or conflict in the male characters' journeys. Critics argue that such depictions perpetuate stereotypes and fail to represent the true diversity of gender experiences. The combination of these issues has led to debates about the film's place in modern discussions about sexuality and gender, causing some to call for it to be banned from contemporary viewership. The conversations surrounding Chasing Amy highlight the ongoing struggle for authentic representation in media and the need for sensitivity in storytelling. Blazing Saddles is a film that has sparked much debate over the years. It is known for its use of ethnic slurs and foul comedy, which many viewers find troubling. The film features a variety of stereotyped characters that represent different races and backgrounds, often in a way that is offensive to many audiences. The humor relies heavily on racial stereotypes, which can be jarring and uncomfortable for modern viewers. The movie was groundbreaking in its time, pushing boundaries and challenging social norms. However, its approach to humor has led to criticism, particularly regarding its portrayal of race and ethnicity. The language used in the film reflects a time when such terms were more commonly accepted in comedy, but today, many find it unacceptable. The offensive language and situations presented in the film have led some to call for it to be banned, or at least heavily edited for contemporary audiences. Despite its comedic intentions, the film raises important questions about race, representation, and the impact of language in media. The legacy of Blazing Saddles is complex, as it sits at the intersection of comedy and social commentary, forcing viewers to confront uncomfortable truths about society and the way humor can reflect and reinforce stereotypes. The film Tootsie features a plot centered around a struggling actor who disguises himself as a woman to land a role on a soap opera. While it was celebrated for its humor and performances, especially by Dustin Hoffman, it is often criticized today for relying on the man in a dress cliché. This portrayal reduces complex gender issues to a simple comedic device, lacking depth and understanding of the struggles faced by transgender individuals. The film presents a dated view of gender roles, suggesting that a man dressing as a woman is inherently funny, without exploring the implications or challenges that come with gender identity. Such a perspective feels prehistoric in today's context, where discussions about gender fluidity and identity have evolved significantly. The humor that once resonated may now be seen as insensitive, as it fails to acknowledge the real experiences of those who do not conform to traditional gender norms. This lack of nuance has led to a reevaluation of the film, with many viewing it as problematic and contributing to stereotypes that are no longer acceptable in contemporary society. The scene that once captivated audiences now raises questions about representation and respect for gender diversity. Criticized for its portrayal of female characters, the film Stripes has faced backlash for depriving them of autonomy. In this comedy, nearly all female characters are depicted in a one-dimensional manner, often reduced to mere objects of desire. The main female character, played by a well-known actress, is primarily shown as a love interest rather than a fully developed person with her own goals and motivations. This lack of depth makes her seem less important than her male counterparts, reinforcing stereotypes about women's roles in both military and civilian life. The film's humor often relies on sexualized jokes, further diminishing the female characters to mere punchlines. This treatment reflects a broader trend in many films of the time, where women's contributions and perspectives are sidelined. Critics argue that such portrayals not only fail to represent women realistically, but also send harmful messages about gender roles. As societal views on gender equality evolve, Stripes stands out as a reminder of how far we have come, and how important it is to create stories that empower all characters, regardless of gender. Considered one of the funniest comedies, The Jerk features Steve Martin in a role that showcases his unique brand of humor. The film follows Navin R. Johnson, a clueless man who embarks on a journey of self-discovery. However, despite its comedic brilliance, the movie includes racial slurs and nasty phrases that have sparked considerable debate about its place in modern society. Many viewers believe that the humor, while reflective of its time, has aged poorly and is no longer acceptable in today's context. Critics argue that the film perpetuates stereotypes and insensitivity, making it difficult for contemporary audiences to appreciate its comedic value without being confronted by its problematic elements. The juxtaposition of laugh-out-loud moments against a backdrop of offensive language raises questions about artistic intent and the evolution of societal norms. As a result, The Jerk has faced scrutiny and calls for bans in certain circles, highlighting the ongoing conversation about what constitutes acceptable humor in film. The film's legacy is now complicated, as it stands at the intersection of nostalgia and the need for cultural sensitivity. When discussing films that have faced backlash for their content, one cannot overlook the controversies surrounding Animal House. This comedy, released in 1978, has been criticized for its portrayal of various groups, including scenes that many deem racist, homophobic, and misogynistic. The film's humor often relies on stereotypes and derogatory jokes that can be harmful and offensive. Critics argue that such representations contribute to a culture of insensitivity and reinforce negative attitudes toward marginalized communities. Many viewers have pointed out that the writing in Animal House lacks depth, relying instead on shock value and crude humor. This approach has led to accusations that the film promotes a toxic environment, particularly in how it treats women and minorities. The characters often engage in behavior that is not only irresponsible, but also perpetuates harmful stereotypes. As society evolves and becomes more aware of issues surrounding equality and respect, the scenes in Animal House are increasingly seen as unacceptable. The film's legacy is complicated. While it is celebrated by some for its comedic elements and portrayal of college life, it is also a reminder of the outdated views that can be found in classic comedies. The backlash has led to discussions about the responsibility of filmmakers to consider the impact of their work on audiences and society as a whole. As these conversations continue, Animal House remains a focal point for examining how humor can intersect with social issues. Porky's follows a group of high school boys in their quest for revenge against a local strip club owner after a series of humiliations. The film is set in the 1950s and showcases the typical teenage experience with a heavy dose of raunchy humor. It employs the boys will be boys cliché to justify the often unethical conduct displayed by the characters. This phrase suggests that such behavior is a natural part of growing up, allowing the film to dismiss serious issues like harassment and objectification as mere antics of youth. The boys engage in various pranks and schemes, often crossing lines that would be considered unacceptable today. The film's portrayal of women and its treatment of sexual themes reflect an outdated mindset that many now find offensive. As society evolves, the ethical implications of such portrayals have led to discussions about censorship and the appropriateness of content in cinema. many viewers now question whether the humor is worth the cost of reinforcing harmful stereotypes and behaviors. The impact of Porky's on film history is significant, as it opened doors for teen comedies, but also raised concerns about the messages being sent to audiences. The film has faced backlash, and is often cited in discussions about what should be acceptable in modern media. Its legacy is complicated, as it straddles the line between nostalgic comedy and problematic content that many believe should not be celebrated. The changing cultural landscape continues to challenge the acceptance of films like Porky's, leading to debates about which scenes and themes should be preserved or banned in today's society. Critics have pointed out that the film Dogma faced backlash from Catholic groups due to its irreverent and often insulting portrayal of religious themes. The movie, directed by Kevin Smith, takes a satirical look at various aspects of faith and spirituality. It tells the story of two fallen angels trying to exploit a loophole to return to heaven, which leads to a series of events that challenge the nature of belief and the institution of religion itself. While the film explores complex issues like faith, redemption, and the human experience, many felt it did so without the necessary respect for those who hold these beliefs dear. The humor, often crude and provocative, was seen as crossing a line, making it difficult for some viewers to appreciate the underlying messages. The film's approach to sacred subjects, combined with its bold narrative choices, contributed to its controversial status. This controversy ultimately led to its banning in some circles, reflecting the ongoing tension between artistic expression and religious sensitivities. Critics have pointed out that the film suffers from an inconsistent pace, making it difficult for viewers to stay engaged throughout its runtime. The story jumps from one scene to another without a smooth flow, leaving audiences feeling disoriented. Additionally, the costumes worn by characters in the film have been criticized for being anatomically accurate and overly revealing. This choice in wardrobe design has raised eyebrows, especially in today's context, where such portrayals are often viewed as objectifying. The combination of these factors contributes to a viewing experience that may disappoint modern spectators who expect more balanced storytelling and a respectful representation of characters. As a result, the film has faced scrutiny and even calls for it to be banned in certain circles. The elements that once seemed edgy or bold now appear outdated and problematic, making it a challenging watch for contemporary audiences. The film's legacy is complicated by these criticisms, impacting how it is perceived in today's cultural climate. Critics have pointed out that the film may whitewash American history, presenting a simplified and often idealized version of significant events. The story follows a man with a low IQ who unwittingly influences key moments in American culture and history. While it is celebrated for its heartwarming narrative and memorable quotes, some argue it glosses over the darker aspects of the periods it depicts, such as the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights Movement. This portrayal can lead viewers to misunderstand the complexities of these events, creating a narrative that feels more like a fairy tale than a historical account. Additionally, the special effects, particularly in the scenes where Forrest interacts with historical figures, have been criticized for being less convincing compared to modern standards. This can make it difficult for some audiences to rewatch the film with the same enthusiasm as when it first premiered. The combination of these factors raises questions about the film's legacy and its place in discussions about American history and cinema. The film Gigi, a musical set in early 20th century Paris, has faced significant backlash due to a particular scene that many view as gratuitous and offensive. This scene, which involves the sexualization of a young girl, sparked outrage among audiences and critics alike for its exploitative manner. Critics argue that the film's portrayal of young women as objects of desire perpetuates harmful stereotypes and trivializes serious social issues related to consent and maturity. The character of Gigi is depicted in a way that many find uncomfortable, as she is groomed for a life of being courted by older men, raising questions about the normalization of such relationships in society. The controversy surrounding this scene led to calls for the film to be banned, or at least reevaluated in light of modern sensibilities regarding gender and age dynamics. As discussions about representation and the impact of media on societal views continue to evolve, Gigi stands as a focal point for debates about what is acceptable in film. The backlash highlights the importance of critically examining the narratives we consume and the messages they send, particularly regarding the treatment of women and girls in entertainment. This ongoing dialogue serves as a reminder of the power of film to shape cultural attitudes and the responsibility filmmakers have in their portrayals of sensitive subjects. Home Alone 3 became a subject of controversy due to its portrayal of violent sequences that many critics deemed unsuitable for young audiences. The film features a group of terrorists as the main antagonists, which raises questions about the appropriateness of such characters in a family-friendly setting. While the original Home Alone films had a comedic tone with lighthearted antics, the third installment took a darker turn. The child protagonist, Alex, finds himself in a situation where he must defend his home from these criminals, leading to various elaborate traps and confrontations that could be seen as excessive for a children's movie. Critics pointed out that the film's reliance on violence, such as slapstick injuries and dangerous situations, overshadowed its intended comedic elements. Instead of lighthearted mischief, viewers witnessed a more intense battle of wits that could potentially influence young minds in a negative way. The decision to feature terrorists as villains further complicated matters, as it introduced themes of crime and danger that are typically avoided in films aimed at children. This combination of violence and serious themes ultimately contributed to the film being criticized, and even banned in some contexts, as parents and guardians expressed concern over its impact on impressionable viewers. As society continues to scrutinize the content presented to children, Home Alone 3 serves as a reminder of the fine line filmmakers walk when creating family entertainment. The debate surrounding this film highlights the ongoing conversation about what is deemed appropriate for young audiences, and the responsibility of creators to ensure their work aligns with the expectations of parents and guardians. In the film, there are moments that have drawn significant criticism over the years, particularly regarding its portrayal of Asian characters. The character Long Duk Dong, played by Getty Watanabe, embodies a series of stereotypes that many find offensive and reductive. His exaggerated mannerisms and broken English serve to reduce a rich culture to mere caricature, reinforcing harmful stereotypes that have persisted in media. This portrayal can be seen as a reflection of the casual racism prevalent during the 1980s, which today feels outdated and unacceptable. Additionally, a scene involving a drunken character raises serious concerns about consent and exploitation. The narrative suggests that a character is taken advantage of while intoxicated, a situation that conflicts with modern discussions about consent and respect. Such themes are troubling, especially in an era where awareness about these issues has increased significantly. The film's lighthearted treatment of serious topics like race and consent can feel jarring to contemporary audiences, leading to calls for reevaluation of its place in popular culture. As society continues to evolve, so too does the conversation about what is acceptable in film and media. Criticized for its poor storytelling and absurd plot lines, the Super Mario Bros. Movie has faced significant backlash since its release in 1993. Many fans of the beloved video game franchise were disappointed by how the film strayed from the source material. The vibrant world of Mario, filled with colorful characters and imaginative landscapes, was replaced by a dark, dystopian version of the Mushroom Kingdom. This drastic shift left audiences bewildered, as they struggled to connect the film's narrative to the joyful adventures they had experienced in the games. The characters, especially Mario and Luigi, were portrayed in ways that did not resonate with fans, leading to further discontent. Critics have pointed out that the film's convoluted plot and lack of coherence ultimately spoiled the childhood memories associated with the iconic video game. As a result, the movie is often cited as a prime example of how adaptations can fail to capture the essence of their original inspirations. Many believe that this film not only tarnished the legacy of Super Mario, but also set a precedent for future video game adaptations, which often struggle to find the right balance between staying true to the game and creating an engaging cinematic experience. The disappointment surrounding the Super Mario Bros. Film serves as a cautionary tale in the world of adaptations, highlighting the challenges of translating beloved video game narratives into successful films. In the film, there are several moments that raise concerns about bullying and the use of racist insults. The protagonist, Marty McFly, often finds himself in situations where he is bullied, reflecting a darker side of high school life. These scenes showcase not only physical intimidation but also verbal attacks that include derogatory language. Additionally, the film features instances where characters drink alcohol and use profanity, which some viewers believe sends the wrong message, especially to younger audiences. Critics argue that these elements diminish the film's overall message and suggests that it would benefit from a re-edit to remove or modify these scenes. The portrayal of such behavior can be seen as problematic, especially in today's context, where there is a greater awareness of the impact of bullying and hate speech. Many feel that a modern audience may find these aspects troubling, and that the film could be seen as promoting negative behavior rather than providing a wholesome entertainment experience. The debate continues about whether classic films should be altered to align with contemporary values. Criticism has surrounded the film Manhattan due to its controversial plot that centers on a romantic relationship between a 40-year-old man and a teenage girl. This storyline has drawn significant scrutiny, especially in light of Woody Allen's personal life and the allegations against him. Many viewers find the premise unsettling, as it raises ethical questions about age differences in relationships and the power dynamics involved. The film, which was released in 1979, was initially praised for its artistic merit and portrayal of New York City. However, the narrative has since become problematic for modern audiences who view it through a different lens. The discomfort is amplified by the fact that Allen himself has faced serious charges related to inappropriate relationships, making the film's content even more disturbing in today's context. As society continues to evolve in its understanding of consent and relationships, Manhattan stands out as a work that challenges viewers to confront uncomfortable truths about love, morality, and the impact of personal actions on public perception. The juxtaposition of its artistic acclaim against its troubling themes has led to calls for the film to be banned, or at least critically re-evaluated in light of contemporary values. This has sparked debates about the separation of art from the artist, leaving many to wonder how to approach works that reflect outdated or harmful ideologies. The complexities surrounding Manhattan serve as a reminder of how cultural products can become contentious over time, especially when the actions of their creators come under scrutiny. The film remains a poignant example of how storytelling can both reflect and distort the realities of human relationships, prompting ongoing discussions about morality in cinema. Reportedly, the film went through hundreds of last-minute screenplay revisions, which made it unpredictable and chaotic during production. This constant change led to a unique blend of humor and spontaneity that many found appealing, even if it initially confused some audiences. When it was first released, it struggled to find its footing, and was even rejected by critics who did not understand its offbeat charm. However, over time, it gained a loyal following and is now considered a cult classic. Fans appreciate its quirky characters, memorable one-liners, and the way it captures the spirit of summer and leisure. The film's setting at a golf course serves as a backdrop for a series of hilarious events, showcasing the antics of its characters, including the iconic role played by Bill Murray. This unpredictable nature, combined with its initial rejection, has made it a fascinating topic for discussion among film enthusiasts who explore how perceptions of movies can change over time. The film Heathers, released in 1989, faced significant backlash for its portrayal of suicide and bullying among high school students. Critics argued that the movie trivialized serious issues by presenting them in a darkly comedic light. The story revolves around Veronica Sawyer, a high school girl who becomes involved with a new student, Jason J.D. Dean. Together, they navigate the treacherous social landscape of their school, dominated by a group of popular girls named Heather. As the plot unfolds, the film depicts a series of murders disguised as suicides, leading to a shocking climax that many felt glorified the act of taking one's own life. Initially, Heathers was derided by audiences and critics alike, who found its humor inappropriate given the sensitive subject matter. However, over time, it gained a cult following, appreciated for its sharp wit and commentary on teenage angst and societal pressures. The film's unique blend of satire and tragedy resonated with many, making it a touchstone for discussions about mental health and the impact of bullying. Despite its popularity, the controversy surrounding its themes has led to ongoing debates about its place in modern cinema and whether it should be banned for its perceived insensitivity. The storyline involves a young boy who is accustomed to getting everything he wants from his wealthy father. In a shocking twist, he expresses a desire for an African-American man to be his toy. This premise raises serious ethical and moral questions as it reduces a person to an object and highlights the absurdity of the boy's entitlement. The film attempts to blend comedy with social commentary, but the concept is so outlandish that it has drawn significant criticism. Many viewers find it deeply offensive, as it trivializes race and identity. The portrayal of the African American character is often seen as a stereotype, reinforcing harmful ideas rather than challenging them. This scene, in particular, has led to the film being banned in various places, as it is viewed as promoting racism and dehumanization. The absurdity of a child asking for a human being as a toy reflects a troubling mindset that many believe should not be entertained in modern cinema. The film's legacy is now marred by this controversial scene, leaving a lasting impact on discussions about race and representation in media. In the 1976 film Bad News Bears, a group of misfit kids comes together to form a little league baseball team. The film is notable for its raw and unfiltered portrayal of youth sports. However, it includes scenes that have sparked significant controversy over the years. One of the most troubling aspects is the depiction of minors using illegal drugs, which raises serious concerns about the influence such content could have on young viewers. Additionally, the film features a range of insults and racially inappropriate language that many find offensive and harmful. Critics argue that these elements normalize negative behaviors and attitudes among children, leading to accusations of child abuse. The film's candid depiction of these issues, while intended to be humorous, has led to calls for its banning in various contexts. As society continues to reevaluate the messages conveyed in media, Bad News Bears remains a focal point in discussions about appropriate content for children and the responsibilities of filmmakers.